All right, guys, it's that time again for the Covrprice Top 10 1 year later. All right, guys, we are getting into this top 10 list from 1 year ago. If you haven't already, hit that subscription button, the thumbs up if you enjoy the video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know which books did you pick up, which books didn't you pick up, which ones do you wish you did, and which ones are you upset that you did. So without further ado, let's talk about Covrprice and get into this list. This list comes from our friends at Covrprice, focusing on their top 10 from 1 year ago. I'm going to take you through how each title's sales compare from last year's market values to today's current values. How did these comics do? What had a boost in price? And of course, which ones were a bust? With that, let's get into the list and let's start at number 10. This is Vengeance number 1. Now, 1 year ago, it was reported that actress Zashidi Gomez, I'm definitely mispronouncing that, and I apologize, had been cast in an unnamed role for Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Back then, we all assumed that she was going to play the role of America Chavez. This rumor lit a big fire under America's first appearance with high sales of $150 raw, $770 and a 9.8. 1 year later, we were all correct, and she is playing the role of America Chavez. This book jumped in value to $390 raw, $1,200 for a 9.8. Honestly, this book still has room to grow. America has some of the flashiest powers in the Marvel Universe. That's going to look amazing on the big screen. Here is a boost, guys. Great book, great cover. You've seen this before. Unless you're sleeping under a rock, this book it's been hot for a year. Once these rumors really started becoming fact, it's going. It's a great book. Good luck, but I have a feeling you could still sneak these in some of those dollar bins. You might be surprised. You might find them in some of those back bins. Maybe. With that, let's get down to number 9. This is Green Lantern number 20. I do love this book. It was this time last year when Variety first reported that a Green Lantern series gets greenlit at HBO Max, Seth Grahame-Smith and Mark Guggenheim to write. This announcement included Jessica Cruz's name, which sent buyers to this long-debated first. CGC notates this as first appearance of Jessica Cruz in a one-panel cameo, face not revealed. However, amongst comic collectors, it's the infamous first appearance of Jessica Cruz's arm. Regardless of this light cameo, many buyers took sellers' listings as first appearance of Jessica Cruz as fact and helped it reach a high raw sale of $83 and $126 for CGC 9.8. 1 year later, this book still sells, but just for much less. Raws are at $30 and a decent 9.8 price for $96. Just a reminder to never go by what the seller notes as a first appearance. This is a bust. It's a slight bust, but I still love this book. I love this cover. Wraparound, square bound book. This is like, I believe this is like an anniversary issue for the new 52 for Green Lantern 20. I don't remember, but it is an awesome cover and it's a great story. So I believe the Jessica Cruz story ties into, it definitely does. It ties into, why can't I think of it? The Dark Side War and all that. Great story. Jeff Johns, one of his best. Let's go down to number 8. This is The Boys Herogasm number 1. 1 year ago, actor Jensen Ackles of Supernatural fame was announced to play the role of Soldier Boy in The Boys Season 3. This news helped raw sales reach a high of $64. 1 year later, a 9.8 finally came to market as sold for $435 in March of 2021, though they now sell for a fair market value of $171. Raw prices have held decently despite dropping to a fair market value of $50. This is a bust, but we will definitely see an increase in sales when the trailer releases. Those 9.8s might be a good buy. Absolutely. This is like one of those, I'd like to call these, for all you fantasy players out there, fantasy baseball, football, all that. This is like a post-hype sleeper book, in my opinion. It popped. It's coming back down, but it may go again when we start seeing the trailers and the character. It may go post-hype sleeper. Maybe I'll tagline that for these things too. We have post-hype sleepers, sleeper books, and flavor of the weeks. Let's go down. Let's go down to number 7. We Live #1. This is the Dustin Wynn 1 in 15 variant. This was the hot new release this time last year, so much so that the 1 in 15 variant sold 59 copies with a high sale of $46 for a raw copy and $95 for graded copies a few weeks later. 1 year later, this Aftershock title is really heating up. It's at this point where we can look back at this moment 1 year from now and regret not picking these up at today's raw fair market value of $107 and $200 on a 9.8. This is a boost with potential. What's fun about this, these We Live books, they're coming out. New York Comic Con just had a We Live #1 variant. I think they had a couple of them. I think one was like a secret metal variant, or I could be wrong. Awesome book. Maybe even some room on these guys. Just keep an eye out for them. Aftershock. You don't hear too much from Aftershock. So when you hear something big, there may be something there. Let's go down to #6. This is the Walking Dead Deluxe #1 gold foil. Whew, a mouthful. 1 year ago, collectors were loving these 1 per store variants. This gold Walking Dead Deluxe sold 59 copies and had a high sale of $179.99 for a raw copy. Though just a week later, due to the high number of copies listed, the fair market value dropped to $60. A few weeks later, 9/8 hit the market and sold for $180, which was the same price as the all-time high raw sale. Keep in mind, these 1 per stores are not rare. Despite the illusion of the 1 per store title, 1 year later, these now sell for $50 raw and $100 in a 9.8. This was a bust. Guys, think about this. 1 per store sounds fancy, sounds like it's a rare book, but how many comic shops are out there that are getting 1 of each copy versus a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 50 or even a 1 in 100? That means these stores have to order 100 copies just to be allocated 1 of those 1 in 100s. The 1 per stores aren't that rare, but if you like the cover, sleep, wait. They usually drop. They usually come back down. So there you go. Hey, unless you're getting it for cover price and the store is selling it for cover price, then what the hell? Good for you. Have at it. Let's go down to #5. This is Static #1. Also this time last year, Hollywood Reporter noted that Michael B. Jordan, Outlier Society, to produce a DC movie, Static Shock. This news heated up Static's first appearance, which sold for a fair market value of $80. 9/8, $449. 1 year later, this was a surprise. The market values have dropped by half, with the raw fair market at $41, 9/8 at $240, though a few $400+ sales here and there. DC noted during their fandom event that development was progressing well, so this low price point may be a good opportunity to buy in. For now, it's a bust, guys. Is this another post-hype sleeper where it popped during the announcement, everyone slept on the book, we're forgetting about it, and it's coming out? Is it going to pick back up again? We've seen heights of this. We've seen the peak, so you know there could be some value there. It's a post-hype sleeper. I like that. I do. Some of you guys might make fun of me. That's okay. We see the book pop. It comes down. People forget about it. And now it pops again. You want another great example of that? How about all of those Adam Warlock books? We saw the Cocoon in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Books started to climb. Everyone slept on Adam Warlock, and they came back down. And now all the Adam Warlock news, and I don't even know where the prices are. They're out of control. They're way up there. I have no clue. Let's go down to #4. This is Justice League #50. As mentioned, all things Green Lantern was hot a year ago, with most of the focus on Jessica Cruz. This issue marks her first appearance as a Green Lantern. It sold 51 copies and had a high sale of $35 raw, $235 for a CGC 9.8. 1 year later, HBO's Green Lantern is a ways away. Therefore, prices have dropped to $22 raw, $149 graded. Bust. Yet again, it's a great time to buy in, as there's a lot of potential for Jessica Cruz. I'm buying the hype on Jessica Cruz. Another post-hype sleeper where the book exploded and people are sleeping and it's coming back down, back down, back down. By the way, Justice League #50, I believe that's the second to last issue of the Dark Side War. Phenomenal story. Jessica Cruz is a big part of it, and Jeff Johns and my boy Jason Fabok crushed it. Fantastic. Let's go down to number 3 on the list. This is Static #1 Collector's Edition. 1 year ago, Static was hot enough to land on this list twice with this collector's edition with a high raw sale of $100 and $400 for 9.8. 1 year later, this seems to be the preference of choice for Static's first appearance outside of the platinum version. While still holding high value, it also dropped to $60 raw, $325 in a 9.8. Again, lots of potential in Static, but it's a bust for now. You guys seeing the trend on this particular top 10 from a year ago? You see a lot of DC stuff, right? Is it because DC fandom just happened? You know, DC fandom happened a year ago. We got all this news. The books exploded. What just happened as of the timing of this recording about a week ago? Less than a week ago, DC fandom again. Check out Covrprice's top 10 list. I'll bet you see some DC books on there. And not only that, they have a lot of stuff coming. Watch out. Covrprice has a lot of stuff coming. I don't want to overhype stuff, but just keep that in mind. With that, let's go down to number 2. We're getting down to the bottom here. This is Mad Max Fury Road Furioso #1. My goodness. Last year, per Variety, George Miller had tapped Anya Taylor, Joy, Chris Hemsworth, and Yahya Abdul-Mateen II to star in Furiosa. I'm butchering names, and I apologize. The prequel movie based on Charlize Theron's Imperator Furioso character from the 2015 Mad Max Fury Road. This news helped move this 2015 one-shot into the number 2 spot, with raw copies selling for $9 and a high sale of $89.99 for CGC 9.8. 1 year later, the raw values have held that $9 mark, and 9.8s have fallen a bit to $75. This may see a bump with a trailer for Furioso, but this is one book on the list that you can comfortably skip. I agree with that. Don't worry about this book. What's it gonna do? Go to $100, $125. Don't worry about picking this book up. It's a $9 raw. Now, granted, if you want it for your personal collection, spend the $9. Why not? But if you're looking for this to make money on this book, it's probably not going to happen. It seems like a lot of these books that explode are Marvel, DC, Image, Valiant, these kind of books, not this kind of stuff. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Now, we're going to go down to number 1. And again, I do want to say, check out coverprice.com. Check out the description down below. There is a link for a discount. Use it, grab it. There's also a free trial. Try it out. See what you think. They do graded copies, fair market value, based on sales data as well as raw. That's what's really cool about them. Check them out. And let's get down to number 1. This is Ecto Kid #1. Last year, it was reported that horror director Clive Barker was developing this Ecto Kid comic into a TV series. This news took this 25-cent back issue to its $27 raw fair market value and a high sale of $170 for a 9.8. 1 year later, with no new news, this book hasn't fared so well. Despite increasing in price for months after the news, hitting an all-time high in December of 2020 at $400 for a 9.8, it now sells for $2.50 raw, $50 in a 9.8. Now, this could go back up, yes, but the likelihood of this happening is low. It's the riskier book on the list, but at $2, it's not that risky. It is a bust, but take a $2 chance, right? Why not? I don't know, only $2. So with that, we're going to break this list down. How much did you win? How much did you lose if you bought at the peak? This is our top 10 from this time last year. They were highly driven by content news. While content-driven books tend to fare the best on these reflective shows, there were 8 busts and only 2 that increased in value. If you bought these in 2020, it would have cost you $782 at peak and $2,515 in a 9.8 today. These are worth $761.50 raw, $2,495 in a 9.8. This would have left you $20 in the red. So pretty much at a break even. It It'll be fun to look at these books next year and see how they fared. Make sure to check out covrprice.com and see what's on their top 10 and the various trending movers and shakers. Come back for the next show and let's see how these books did. We're going 2 years later. Back 2 years later. Was it a bust? Did you make money? Was it good? I don't know. Let's see. We'll see you back for 2 years later. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep it comics.